Let's get the very latest from our correspondent, Anita McNaught, because she's joining us live, in fact, from the scene of that quake in Ercis, Anita, and that story of hope and survival of that baby that I was just mentioning. Are there many survivors? Are rescuers able to find anyone else that's alive?
This was a building people were very pessimistic about, but it's still yielding surprises tonight. I'm going to lower my voice now because there's a man walking behind us asking us all to be quiet. Because I'll make sure you can still hear me. In that building behind me, they've turned the lights off because they've turned the generators off, so it's not worth zooming in. They think they've heard another voice. They don't know quite what they're saying because the voice may have been calling for help, which in Turkish is imdat, or calling her name out, which is Emine. They're not sure, but they believe there is another survivor there, and they're trying to find exactly where, and that's what's going on now. But let me explain why we leave them to do that. Let's have a look at what happened earlier on today. In the midst of the misery and devastation of Ercis, some comfort for one family. A mother, Samra, retrieved alive from her apartment after more than 48 hours. She would be reunited with her baby girl, Azra, born 10 days earlier. The baby extraordinarily also survived 2 days in the wreckage, as did her grandmother, who came out third.
These rescues against the odds, it's the reason why the people here won't abandon these terrible scenes of collapsed buildings and won't leave their family members behind. While there still remains a chance, they keep working. While there still remains a chance, they keep watching on.
The three lived through the aftermath of the quake thanks to a sofa bed wedged between the collapsed floor and ceiling, giving them just enough space to breathe and time for rescuers to reach them. But the fragility of so many of Ercis's buildings, particularly residential ones, is now the subject of investigation. An inspection team from Ankara's Chamber of Civil Engineers has come to the town to make its own inquiries. One member told me the building Samra and Azra's family lived in should never have been occupied.
They didn't get proper engineering advice and they used wrong structural frame.
The building was not strong enough?
Yes, of course.
As the shock subsides here, it's being replaced by anger and annoyance at what some still see as delays and failings in the government's response.
Everybody nighttime staying on the streets, no fire, no electricity, no chemist, no medicine, nothing. Nothing. All TV giving wrong news. All TV giving wrong news. We really emergency need help.
The weather is turning cold and wet in the east, and the people are worried about the winter to come.
Anita, in your report there, you're talking to the survivors of that earthquake. They're clearly calling for help. I understand that the government has been criticized in being slow to deliver the help and the aid that these people need. Why is that, and what's the situation there?
Well, the situation is that everything is too slow in getting here. And you can probably see the first few flakes of snow actually falling down now amongst the smoke from the open wood fires built from the debris of the buildings around us here that people are using to keep warm by. It's not that Turkey lacks the resources, and it's not that Turkey lacks the means to bring them here. We've seen fire engines today here from Istanbul. There are people here from various search and rescue services, emergency services from all over the country. They've got here. The roads are good. The access is possible. The earthquake hasn't torn up the road system. But there seems to be a problem in coordination. There seems to be a problem, a shortage in specific things. The gentleman you saw me interviewing, Shahin Tokay, said, we've got water here. In fact, they haven't got water in the taps. The taps aren't running. The sewage isn't working either. But he's saying they haven't brought medicine in. There's crucial things that need coordinating that hasn't happened yet. It's an organisational problem, which of course is a reflection of a preparedness problem. Now, Turkey has been through this before. Turkey has these same conversations every time it has an earthquake, and it has an earthquake on a regular basis. So there are issues here for the government to address. And the longer time goes on and these crucial things aren't available, the angrier people here are going to get.
So, Anita, then what happens to those people now that have been left homeless and that we saw earlier on during the day when you were live with us, you were showing us the people that were just sort of lying about with nowhere to go?
No, they don't. I mean, their homes are demolished and the rest of the homes that are here aren't safe to occupy. And let me tell you, just a matter of 2 minutes before we came on air, we had another aftershock. To describe it to you, it was like feeling I was on a boat. The ground was rocking, floating from side to side. You had a floating sensation. And if I can take Barish's camera up here, these two apartment blocks behind me, which are very similar to the one that collapsed next to it. These two buildings were swaying very visibly from side to side. Everyone was yelling and running forward to where I am in case they pitched forward. They actually looked like they were going to go sideways, and then the aftershock stopped. So this is why people are out on the streets. The aftershock's continuing. They daren't go back inside, and they're hoping for tents, but tents is another issue. There aren't enough tents here yet. The government knows about that. It's apologised for it, and it's sending more in. But at the moment, hopefully it won't rain like it rained this afternoon. It rained very heavily. Everyone got soaked. Hopefully this will be the last night that the town's residents are seen out in the street like I'm seeing them now, but I can't swap the camera around that way. It's too far. Just sitting out in the street on rescued furniture with open fires.
All right, Anita McNaught, thank you very much for that update live from Ercis. Thank you.